Everyone thought they were about to watch a harmless little spar. But in the next few minutes, they'd see a 10-year-old girl do something most fighters can't pull off in a lifetime. And it wouldn't end on the mat. Everyone was watching, but no one had any idea the day was about to change. The martial arts gym was alive with clapping, laughter, and chatter. In the middle stood a little girl no more than 10. Her GI pants were far too big, her belt clutched tightly in her small fingers. Her eyes darted nervously, her feet shifting slightly. Every face turned toward her. Coach Mark, a black belt in his 40s wearing a smug grin, stepped forward. His voice boomed through the room. "Looks like we've got ourselves a new martial arts master." A few students stifled laughs, others smirked openly. Mark motioned with his hand. "Come on, princess. Let's see you throw a punch." The girl's grip on her belt tightened. Her eyes locked onto Mark's. Her voice was soft, yet carried a strange calm. "Are you sure you want me to?" The laughter grew louder. Someone pulled out a phone and hit record. In the far corner, an older man, white hair, eyes sharp and studying, watched closely. He muttered under his breath, "That stance. I've seen this before." The camera in someone's hand catches the old man's expression, curious, focused. No one knew it yet, but this was only the first turn in the story. The crowd's laughter swelled, but the girl's shoulders didn't flinch. She breathed in slowly, almost rhythmically. Her small frame seemed to settle, her stance subtly shifting, feet planting, knees bending, weight perfectly balanced. Coach Mark stretched his neck, clearly amused. "All right, Cupcake, let's make this quick." He dropped into a casual fighting pose, the kind used when someone's sure they can finish it fast. The girl didn't move. Not yet. Her eyes fixed on his chest, not his face. Mark waved her forward, still smirking. But before she could step, the old man's voice cut through the noise, not loud but sharp enough to hush those nearest him. "She's not here to play." The words lingered in the air. Some students glanced at him in confusion. Mark chuckled, "I'll be gentle." The girl's lips twitched into something almost like a smile, but it wasn't. And then, everything froze for just a moment, her breathing steady, her hands loose at her sides. The old man leaned forward slightly. "Wait for it." A sudden flash of memory struck. Dust, heat, the crack of fists against pads. A younger version of the girl, maybe 8 years old, stood in military-style training gear. Her hands were taped, her eyes unblinking. A stern instructor circled her like a hawk. "Again," he ordered. She drove a sharp elbow into a padded target. The sound was brutal for someone her size. "Faster." She pivoted, low kick, knee strike, spinning back fist. Her movements weren't random, they were drilled, exact, lethal. The instructor leaned in, voice cold but certain. "You don't speak. You act. Silence is your strength." The montage blurred. Krav Maga, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai. Sweat pouring, knuckles red. Her small body moved with precision that would humble most adults. Smash cut back to the gym. The laughter faded as she shifted her weight. The timid little girl was gone. In her place stood something calculated, sharpened. Mark raised his brows, half smiling. "Oh, we're doing this." The old man's eyes narrowed further. "They have no idea," he muttered. The girl exhaled once and moved. Mark barely registered the motion before his legs were swept out from under him. He hit the mat hard, the sound echoing through the room. A few laughs turned into gasps. Before he could push himself up, she feinted left, quick enough to make him commit, then snapped a precise strike straight to his chest. Mark staggered back, breath stolen. The smirk vanished. Phones kept recording. Students leaned in, eyes wide. Mark tried to recover, dropping back into stance, but she was already closing in. In one fluid motion, she slipped behind him, locked her arm under his chin, and tightened the chokehold. The shift in the room was instant, the laughter gone, replaced by stunned silence. Mark's hand tapped the mat, fast and hard. She released him immediately, stepping back, her face unreadable. "Did she just beat him?" someone whispered. "That's a black belt," another replied. The old man stood, eyes never leaving her. "That's no ordinary kid." She adjusted her belt without glancing at the crowd. She wasn't even breathing hard. Mark, still kneeling, stared up at her, shock mixing with something else. Respect. Before anyone could speak again, she began untying the top of her GI. Underneath was a fitted black rash guard, and on the chest a gold-stitched patch, Gold Star, International Youth Combat Champion. She knelt by her bag, unzipped it, and a plaque caught the light. World Combat Federation, Under-12 Champion, 3-time winner. Mark's voice was quiet now. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" She met his gaze for the first time since the fight. You never asked. The old man stepped closer, studying her posture. Israeli discipline. Military precision. She nodded. My father was my teacher. He raised a fighter, the old man said with a rare smile. The students began clapping, hesitant at first, then building into a standing ovation. Even Mark rose, red-faced but humbled, and bowed deeply. You didn't just school me, you taught this room something bigger than technique. She picked up her bag and walked toward the door. Just before stepping out, she glanced back. Every eye was still on her, but now with admiration. She whispered to herself, I didn't come to show off. I came to learn. The door closed behind her. Silence. The old man's voice drifted into the quiet. They laughed before they knew her truth, but real strength doesn't need to shout. The screen stayed black for a moment, only the sound of faint footsteps fading. Then a sudden click. The phone video from earlier filled the frame, shaky but clear. The moment she swept Mark's legs played again, this time in slow motion. Gasps from the crowd overlapped with the thud of him hitting the mat. The video looped, showing her strikes, her chokehold, her calm release. On screen, the viewer count ticked upward rapidly. Hundreds, then thousands. Comments flooded in. Who is she? That's insane for her age. Real-life prodigy. A final frame froze on her face, calm, steady, unblinking. The old man's voice returned. She's not here to be known, she's here to be ready. The sound of a metal clinking on a table. A shadowed figure picked up a training bag and walked into a dimly lit alley. The patch read, Gold Star. Text appeared, if you think this was her biggest fight, you're wrong. A faint streetlight flickered as her small figure moved deeper into the alley. Footsteps echoed behind her, heavier, faster. She stopped without turning. So, it's true. You're the kid from Tel Aviv? A low male voice said. Her hand tightened on the strap of her bag. Slowly, she glanced over her shoulder. A tall man in a dark jacket stepped forward, his face hidden in shadow. You beat a black belt in front of a crowd, not bad. But that was the easy part. She didn't answer, just measured him. Your father, he trained you well. I knew him, the man said. A flicker of surprise passed over her face. He stepped closer. He and I, we never finished our match. Maybe you and I can settle it instead. From far away, a siren wailed. The man lowered his center of gravity. You ready, champion? She exhaled once and let her bag drop to the ground. Her bag lay in the dust between them. The man's boots scraped closer. You think winning trophies means you're ready? Your father knew better. She narrowed her eyes. Then you knew what he stood for. The man chuckled. I knew exactly what he stood for. And that's why he lost. A flash of her father's voice echoed in her mind. Never let anger take the first step. She steadied her breath. If you came here for a fight, you'll get one. From the shadows, two more figures appeared, broad, moving with purpose. The man smiled. This is more than a fight, kid. This is an invitation. She bent her knees slightly, ready. The camera moved close on her eyes, calm, steady, unblinking. Their feet shifted, hands flexed, weight coiled. The streetlight buzzed above them, stretching their shadows. Before the first strike could land, headlights flooded the alley. A black SUV screeched to a halt. The rear door opened, the old man stepped out. Enough, he commanded. The man in the jacket smirked. Still collecting strays? The old man ignored him, looking at the girl. You don't owe them this fight. Not yet. She hesitated, then the man in the jacket called out, Walk away now and you'll never know the truth about him. The old man's jaw tightened. Get in the car, he said. She looked between them, two paths in front of her. She stepped toward the SUV. The door slammed, tires screeched, and they were gone. The man in the jacket watched them vanish, his smirk fading. She'll come find me. They always do. Fade to black. Text on screen, Part 2, the fight she can't refuse.